Travis back on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast, episode 27 this week. Travis, who was your number 27 you're thinking of?
Yeah. Gotta say, I'm gonna go with two answers on this one. Started off in modifieds, and Danny Johnson was one of the heroes when I first started, and won Syracuse, swept Syracuse like 2006, right around when I was first starting. And I parked next to him a couple times and saw his standard roll in the pits after hot laps, Scott Bloomquist style and window heat and feature and a bunch of stuff like that. So him and definitely Tom Hoopanen. Hoopanen got a lot of his wins in the 12 car with Cade, but 27 is his own number when he owns his own car. So Hoopanen as well.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
I'll go with Nico Hansen, one of the young and up-and-comers who have pretty bright future ahead of them. I'm pretty sure I watched Nico win, I think it was the side-by-side race, the chain race, I think, in the Wreckfest at Merrittville this year. So
Yep.
that was pretty funny. Funny stuff. And I think I can't remember who he won it with, but it was, I think they literally won it after just meeting in the pits like 5 minutes before that. So funny stuff from them. Episode 27.
Yep.
Still some racing to talk about. We want to start with let's start with the Mod Eastern States 200 from Orange County. Which was won by Matt Shepard and Stuart Friesen bringing home second, and our own Matt Williamson brought the 6W home in sixth position.
Yeah. So yeah, I paid the $50 US to watch the feature. I thought it was a decent deal, definitely cheaper than going, and I really wanted to see what happened because Matt was on the pole, and I gave him a shout out on the socials for the page when he did that, and he was driving his own car, like I think we said last week, in the own 6 car. And if we're going to talk about him first, he had a real good race, typical pit stop, like it's like watching a NASCAR race on with modifieds. I totally love that aspect about it. It's the only division, short track division left that really kind of does that stuff with the pit stops and stuff like that. Like World of LA models don't do it, sprint cars don't do it, other than like a fuel stop, which I hate in sprint cars anyways. So yeah, I just love the live pit stops and the strategy. And so that all played out, and he was running within the top 3 later on, and then I think he got stuck starting outside 4th on a restart and just didn't work out and fell to 6th. So that was Matt's day. Still a good run. One of the biggest races of the year. That race has been going on forever. Like, that's the longest running one now, I think, because Dirt Week kind of moved from the mile to Oswego, even though Dirt Week's still technically been going 50 years and everything, but it moved. That one's been at Orange County the whole time. So that's like from back in the days of Buzzy Rudiman and Gary Blue and all those guys, and Will Cagle. Like, they started out running that race, Orange County 200, Eastern States, way back in the 70s, and it's still going today. And yeah, the finish was totally awesome. Stuart Friesen looked like he was going to make up for his wearing the tires off at Port Royal and give him one to Matt Shepard. And then with about, like, he was checked out, gone, and then, not checked out, gone. The Shepard was still within striking range a bit, but then Stewie hits the inside wall, pulls the Travis Cunningham coming at it too. I literally was watching it with my guys on the crew after we done stripped the 90 down to a bare frame. So yeah, we were watching that, and I was literally screaming, "They pulled to me! He pulled to me!" And then Shepard got him, and yeah, Stewie limped her home on the broken wheel. He even got a couple more chances at Shepard in lap traffic because the main reason Stewie hit the wall is because there was a lap car in front of him that definitely was not adhering to the leaders. I had no clue who he was, didn't know his paint scheme, and if I don't know who your paint scheme is, I got bad news for you. You're probably a nobody, just gotta say. And he was blocking the leaders pretty hard. He put Stewie almost into to the point where he had to try everything, and did clip the inside wall. And then for Shepard to have as much trouble with him too, and Stewie almost catches back up to him and passes him with a flat, shows the fact that guy was really being way too much on the leaders. So I don't even know who he was, but I remember his number. It was a black car with white lettering, not Ryan Go Down. But yeah. But then Shepard pulled it off, another 40 grand. To add to his
guy's having a heck of a season.
A couple expensive laps for Stewie.
Currently leading the Super Dirt. Yeah, right, for real. Currently leading the Super Dirt Car Series points. Matt Shepard is, as they go right now. Our boy Matt Williamson is in second with that 88 machine, 164 points back. So you were saying, though, off air, you think that one's pretty much wrapped up, eh?
Yeah, like Orange County and Port Royal, which we were talking about the last couple weeks, weren't part of the Super Dirt Car Series, but the Super Dirt Car Series final event's going to be at World Finals coming up, not this coming weekend, next weekend. So like November 5th is the Saturday, but it starts on the Wednesday this year. Super Dirt Car Series not running Wednesday; they're running Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe. So yeah, that one's pretty locked up with Matt Shepard, but I'm pretty sure Matt is locked into battle for third with Jimmy Phelps. I'm gonna say.
Yep, he's got 30 points on Jimmy Phelps right now, and then back to Mark Johnson in fourth is 245 back, so that's a difference of about 50 points between Phelps and Johnson. So yeah, Williams is going to be fighting for that second, or Williamson's going to be fighting for that second position in points right down to the end. It looks like with Phelps. Um, yeah, it's still a great season from him, though. I know obviously one spot short of where he probably wants to be, but still, I mean, anytime you can finish second in the Super Dirt Car Series points, I think you got to take pat yourself on the back with that one, right?
Especially with the season that Super Matt Shepard's had, just a complete
Yeah,
season for the ages. Like you could. This is the best season in dirt modified history, if you ask me. Like,
yeah, you think so, eh?
it's got to be. It's
Seven
right up
wins,
there. Matt, first, like not even a
seven
Super
wins,
Dirt Car
12
Series,
top
just where
fives.
he's at 41. It says personal best overall
Yeah,
between everything. I just saw him post that. So 41 years not over. He's got a couple more shots at it this weekend. I'm watching a race right now. Currently, a street stock just completely mangled itself over on Flow Racing here. It's at Georgetown, and there's modified racing tonight, like Matt's racing. This is for the Short Track Super Series. And then this Saturday
yep,
is their big show. 25,000 to win for the Short Track Super Series Elite Series, and Matt's up on the points in that too. I'm pretty sure Williamson that is. And but yeah, Shepard will be
yep.
going for this 25,000 as well. And like I say, he's pushing $750,000 won this year.
And pretty impressive stuff. 14 top tens in 16 starts. Pretty impressive stuff. Like it's kind of hard to top that. So I
Yeah,
I it and then even the earnings, like I love that's one of the big things I miss about like big time auto racing is they don't show the earnings anymore. But seeing the money side, 116,000 in earnings so far this year for Matt Shepard, pretty impressive
that's just on
stuff.
the Super Dirt Series
16
alone.
yeah, just the Super Dirt Series, right? So
Yeah,
I have the standings in front of me: 7 wins, 12 top fives, 14 top tens, and 16 starts. Very, very impressive stuff from Williams or from Shepard, and no slouch either. Williamson 10 top tens in 16 races himself, so he's currently in second. And I'm trying to get the the short track Super Series standings up because you were just mentioning
yeah.
Matt's
I'm pretty
position
sure
in
Matt Shepard's
that.
leading that too over Williamson. Imagine that. That's the Elite Series. They got a bunch of different series. I think the other two are already done, the North and South. But then this year,
Yep.
Brett Dio, Short Track Super Series promoter, started this Elite Series, which is they're all like big paying races, 25,000 or more, and they're all less than
hmm
100 laps, I believe.
And what do you know? It Matt Shepard's got 3 wins and 5 starts in that series. This one in the elites is actually a pretty tight battle. Williamson sits fifth
Okay.
right now in points, but it's Shepard, Ryan Go Down, Max McLaughlin, Perego, Williamson, Freeze in your top six in that one. But Shepard has an 84-point lead in the elite series standings.
Yep. So there you go, Matt Shepard doing
This
his
according
thing.
to Race Stats Central.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all because that was series only got a few races. Like that series isn't very long, so like it's like
Yeah,
every position lost means so much more because it's only like a 6 race series.
yeah, exactly. Which is
Yep.
kind of fun that way.
Yep.
We also. Oh, go ahead.
We're gonna talk. I just want to talk about the Outlaws for sure.
Oh yeah,
Springs.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I've got the World of Outlaws points right in front of me because you mentioned the World Finals and of course the World Outlaws sprint car drivers point standing is going to be settled at the World Finals too because it's quite a battle now at the top. Like Brad Sweet only has 16 points advantage over David Gravel.
Yeah. So last weekend was the Williams Grove National Open, which was rained out from earlier in the year. So yeah, they did it last weekend, 75,000 win, and Old Man Lance Deweese picks up the win. And it was a pretty boring race. The track was pretty heavy, to be honest. And the real exciting was Danny Dietrich Freddie Raymer was the point leader going in for the track title, and then he doesn't make the show. So, and Freddie Raymer and Danny Dietrich are known to be hating each other. Like, they literally had a fight on pit road where the Raymers went in and attacked Dietrich while he was still in the car. So anyway, so this race was combined within the National Open with the Outlaws for the point series and the track title. So Freddie Raymer doesn't make the show. Danny Dietrich does. Danny Dietrich starts 18th. He needs to get to 8th to pick off the track title. So that was a fun little story within the race, and he does get it done. He was the only car really passing cars, and he goes 18th to 8th, picks up the track title, and gives the ultimate little FU to the Raymers after what they did to him earlier in the year. Although that rivalry goes back so far. That's what I love about Central Pennsylvania sprint car racing, is just the rivalries are insane, especially that one. I love that one. And then, this is the World of Outlaw points. So early in the race, Brad Sweet breaks a left rear axle tube, and it's his first DNF in like over 200 Outlaw starts. So yeah, and then because that race, like the Nationals, they were starting extra cars, so it wasn't just a 24. I think they were starting 28. So Brad Sweet finished 28th, David Gravel finishes up front, and now we've got a real good battle. Like the Super Dirt Car Series is locked up going into World Finals, but the World of Outlaw Sprints, that's one to watch because there's only 11 points separating Brad Sweet and David Gravel, and David Gravel's known to be real good at Charlotte Motor Speedway dirt track, or whatever they call it now.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be a very, very tight battle. I'm looking forward to it. And I think we're going to have ourselves a little watch party and get
That's the
together
plan
and
next Saturday.
check that one out. Yep, Saturday the 5th. We also got to talk about, speaking of Outlaw, how about Outlaw Speedway action?
Yes.
They had a little doubleheader on the 21st and 22nd. Name we a lot of us here in Canada got pretty familiar with this summer. Paulie Colagiovanni brought his sprint home in second in the A Main 25 lapper. Also running in that one, Ryan Turner in the 15 brought it home 8th, and Aaron. You might see it misprinted. Aaron Turner. We believe that is Aaron Turkey in the
That's
68.
100% Aaron Turkey.
But I can't.
Yeah, and
Right?
then Glenn was down there too.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking that's how they had a little
Yeah, I saw
misprint
someone
there. So
post about it.
Aaron brought it home 12th, and Glenn Cyrus was 16th in that feature for the sprints down at Outlaw.
Yeah, so I think there was also a makeup feature from like 2021 that night, and Paulie won that. So first and second for Paulie, and then Ryan's never been there before, so good run for him in 8th. There was a bunch of cars there, and Aaron and Glenn went down there as well. Good to see people traveling
Yep,
at the end of the year.
and you also want to shout out over
Yeah,
on the modified and sportsman side. JMF grabbed himself a top 10 in one of two events. This is of course
and he was
the
saying it was Ryan 8th.
Dutch Hogue event.
Yep.
Yep. And Boyd McTavish, also got to give Boyd McTavish a shout out for running down there. You were saying it's a Chad Brockman paint
Well, I
scheme
don't
that
know.
Boyd was
Yeah, he's
running,
got
not
like this
the Noah
car,
Mamo 3.
like he had the Outlaw car going earlier in the year on the coils and stuff. And I think I saw him post on Facebook that this car is like just an older car still on torsion bars, but got the good dirt spec motor in it and stuff. And I think he brought it out a couple times in Maryville too, right? Pretty sure at the end of the
Yeah,
year.
I think
Yeah.
so.
And Boyd's been known
Yeah,
to travel into the end of the year. I'm pretty sure one year in Black Rock, which is now Outlaw, they had one in like November and Boyd hit that one. So Boyd's been known to go there late in the year.
nice. For sure. That's kind of the racing action side of it. We're gonna have DJ Christie on the show, who's got some news to tell us about what he's been driving as of late and what he's got planned for a little trip over this weekend upcoming. But before we get to that, we had the Beef Corby Daniels on last week to talk about the iRacing League, and we got some exciting news since working on that. It sounds like Southern Ontario Dirt Show is going to sponsor one of the events in the iRacing League this year. Travis, I feel like I'm going to pick maybe, what should we pick? Like 4 or 5 racetracks and have the audience
Yeah, let's go
decide? Because
for A, B, C, or
the
D,
calendar,
just like high school test.
right?
Yeah. Oh, they.
I think that's the
Yeah,
best way to do
let's
it.
do it for.
So let me have a look here and grab the options. Um, I'm going to look at some of them here, and we've got right off the hop, I-55 is looking for a sponsorship. I feel like I-55 should go on the
Yep.
list, eh?
And we'll put Weedsport on the list just because one of the races is on my birthday. So if that gets picked, that'll be that race. So I-55,
Yep, we'll try and do that
Weedsport.
one. How about we have a chance to sponsor a 60 lapper at Knoxville.
That can go on the list. That's a definite.
Yep.
A lot of our guests have said 410 at Knoxville as their
Yeah,
answer to our
right.
question. So yeah, put that on there.
That is a good point. And then looking at one more here. We can do. We could do. I think we're. What about Lima? We got Lima Land open.
Sure.
Looks like Fairbury's open.
Hmm.
Should we put both those on? Cedar Lake's open.
Ooh, yeah, it's all good answers. Let's go.
Port Royal's got 2 open dates, so I'm pretty sure we could have one of the Port Royals. You want to put Port Royal as the fourth?
Sure.
Okay. So unofficially, we'll go with those 4. I'm gonna message Beef and confirm that, and watch for that poll. It's gonna go up later this weekend, once the podcast is out, and then maybe next week we'll come back, recap the results, and decide which one is going to be the Southern Ontario Dirt Show something, because it depends. Like I-55, where you guys are running 100 laps
Yep.
at. Weed Sport's going to be, I think, a 75 lapper. Knoxville's going to be where's it here? Knoxville looks like it's going to be 60 laps, and Port Royal's going to be a 75 lapper too. So one of those numbers will be the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. Although if I-55 wins, I'm going to nominate that we drop that down to 90 for your sprint car number.
That's funny. And then
Yeah.
yeah, we did a practice race on Monday. I got my butt totally kicked, but
Oh,
it
how'd
was an
that go?
awesome race though. Like just the amount of different drivers, like that Corby said last week, and he forgot to mention like Dean Reynolds, the Super Dirt Car Series, whatever you call him. Like he's the head guy there, really, on the Super Dirt Car Series,
Yeah.
the promoter slash general
Nice.
manager, all that. Like he finished third. So yeah,
Nice.
he
Impressive
lapped
run.
me. So
Well, just what happens if you hit the inside wall in an iRacing
not
race?
as much, not as bad. Cause I did clip it a couple times. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I need to get my
Stay off
button
the
gear on
bottom.
that. But Stephen Plank won the race, and like I'm pretty sure he's Dale Plank's son or related, anyways. And I'm pretty sure he kicks butt on the series. So Pachelski got the pole, then clipped the wall, and then ended up fourth, I think. And then when he clipped the wall, that caused a little bit of kerfuffle, but it still went green to checkers 40 laps, even though Cousins were on. So definitely not your normal iRacing thing where everyone junks each other on the first lap. Because
Which
that's
is
a
good.
normal
That's kind of
iRacing
what I
room
want.
where on an official race, at least half a 50% chance you're going into turn one, and there's going to be a gigantic wreck in front of you, and you're just praying to Jesus at that point.
Well, it sounds like I'm going to have an exciting time calling that. You'll have an exciting time driving in it. And we'll have an update on which race we're going to sponsor coming up. But right now, let's get to our guest this week, DJ Christie, on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast.
Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Want to support the Southern Ontario Dirt Show and help us expand our coverage across the province and Western New York? Well, your ad could be playing right here. Got a brand or business that deserves more attention? Email us, southernontariodirtshow@gmail.com, to become a sponsor of the podcast. And now, let's get back to the show.
And we're back on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast. Jonathon and Travis Cunningham, joined tonight by DJ Christie. DJ, how is it going, my friend?
Oh, not too bad. And you guys?
Not so bad, honestly. It's been a weird time now that the racing season's kind of ended, but there's still lots of news coming out and lots of things to get into, and including some news for yourself. But let's start with your 2022 season. Just kind of give us a little recap on your season, some highlights, and how you felt about the year as a whole.
Yeah, we had a all right season. It's not the season we were hoping for, but you can't complain. Everything's in one piece, and we didn't wreck really anything this year. Knock on wood. We're not done yet, but yeah, we had 3 top 5s over all of our races we did. We had a trip down to Ransonville. That was our first time racing in the States, so that was kind of an experience. But other than that, pretty normal stuff. Nothing too out of the ordinary happened. It was a fun year. Got to see everyone, and it was nice to be back at the Big O, of course. And yeah.
Yeah, so DJ, you sprung onto the scene like last year and won 2 races. So talk about the 2021 season. Like you moved up right as a rookie and were able to rip one off at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway in Brighton. So talk about last year being a rookie and ripping those 2 wins off.
Yeah, last year was kind of just a shock. We were not expecting to be racing the 360 full time. It was supposed to just be like, let's go dabble with this and learn a little bit. But we ended up wrecking our crate car, and there was nothing left of that thing. So we ended up going 360 racing, and honestly, the stars kind of aligned. We didn't know if the first one was just a fluke, but then the second one happened. So that was honestly more of a shock than the first one, because the first one, like, we didn't know if it was just like a one hit wonder kind of thing. But we backed it up, and yeah, it was fun. Of course, we were hoping to lead that momentum into 2022, but it we did and we didn't. The competition is just so tough here in Ontario now. Like,
Mm,
there's probably like 20 cars that can win every night, even more than that now.
yeah, I agree. And yeah, we didn't run Ash Weekend last year, and that's a totally different ball game than what we were doing. So I
Yeah,
was
it
pretty much the
honestly is.
same
Like,
way,
I didn't
better in
use really
2021.
very much my setup stuff from 2021 into 2022, just because it's a completely different animal. Even just with the wing speed that you carry at Ash Weekend, you just gotta put completely different stuff in the car to make it work.
Totally, yep. I know.
So DJ, you've had some success, kind of everywhere you've gone. I've definitely seen some fantastic runs out of you locally at Maryville Speedway on races that I've called in the past as well. So just talk to us about your approach to different racetracks and how you handle the diversity of different racetracks that you get around Southern Ontario.
Well, we honestly go to every track with something similar to a setup, just so we know we're coming off the trailer with something we know what we're gonna have, and then after that we kind of fine tune, change bars, and change the odd shock here and there. But yeah, we try and that's just probably the easiest way to say it. Just keep it simple, and then when we go there for the first time, we'll get a nice notebook, and then the next time going back, we really feel that we have something to build off of, and we can show our speed a little bit more. Obviously, that going to all these tracks this year and last year was we're still learning a lot and still have a lot to learn, and we don't really have a setup guy that knows what they're doing. I've honestly had to learn everything by myself and take tips from everyone, and I've learned that you can't take a little bit of information from someone and use it and expect the same results. You either gotta take everything that they're doing and apply it, or just try to do your own thing. Just because, in my experience, I find that once you take someone's advice, it honestly makes you worse sometimes, just because you don't have their whole package.
Yeah, for sure. We literally have talked to drivers this year that have talked about that idea where they've picked the brains of others, and then all of a sudden they end up just going back to what they had at the start of the year because it's like they get down too far into the reeds when it comes to setups and advice and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you ran most of the season in your 5 car, and then for some reason, I think you said a motor issue on Facebook or whatever it was, and you got to drive the 0, which was like Linton Jeffrey drove it at the Nationals, the one with the black wing. And then talk about how that came about.
Well, I was changing the oil on a Tuesday night with me and my buddy were doing it, and once I took the drain plug out of the oil tank, it came out not looking very pretty. Usually, you know how it comes out. It comes out looking the same way you put it in. And
Yeah.
it was just a last minute thing I started calling everyone. I called Dan Nanacoke. I called Glenn, and didn't really get an answer from anyone. And you can't expect an answer from anyone. You're kind of just hoping for anything at that point, but nobody's just going to give
Mm-hmm.
away their car with all the money that they have spent on it. And we had done a bunch of stuff to our motor. We changed everything pretty much that we could, and we got it a little bit better, but it was to the point we were still scared. But we were going to run it just because we had to, and everything was ready to go. It was well, at Friday at 8:30 a.m. I got a phone call sitting at my desk at work, and it said Glenn's tires, and I jumped up and ran outside because I didn't want to talk in the office with everyone sitting there and everyone was talking. So one thing led to another, and Glenn said, "Well, whatever you need, come and get. It's sitting here. We have cars ready to go. Just bring your trailer and load up and go." And it was just awesome, just because everything was there we needed, and well, we were ready to go. We just essentially pushed his car in our trailer and took everything. And I didn't know at that time, along with the car came Steve Moulton, and how can you not turn that down with him knowing as much as he does? And honestly, that was the best I've ever felt at Humberstone, just because I think it was him. He did stuff that I have never done, and well, it showed it worked.
Yeah. Yeah, killed him in the heat, and then third, and what was the other one?
Uh,
Sorry, Johnny.
we were ninth on Saturday. We would have been seventh, but I
Oh, yeah.
stepped on it there at the last lap. When
Saturday was a totally different track. Friday was definitely more a DJ Christie track.
yeah, I would think
We
so.
can definitely agree with that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
On the, because SOMS, you were definitely on the gas that night.
Yeah, and the track on Saturday was honestly came to us there at the end. We busted off the second fastest time on lap 22 because
I did catch that. Yeah.
Jordan Poirier did a 16.2 like 1.9 or something on lap 2, and I did a 16.234 on lap 22, and then Chuck Heben was the third fastest with like a 16.9.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you were flying towards the end of that. I was sitting in the stands for that one, or I was up in the tower, but I was watching and tracking it in the data, and I was really impressed with how you ran just that entire 2 weeks. So you mentioned Steve Moulton. So are there any secrets you can share? Anything you picked up? Any words of wisdom that you can share with the audience, or is it just having somebody else with a different voice and different approach to things and an experience level?
Well, obviously there's a big experience level difference there, and honestly, we didn't do anything out of the ordinary. A lot of it was stuff I did, but it was the small stuff that dialed it in, just like the shock package that was on that car. And we even ran my shocks for the heat of each, actually just for the heat of the Friday, and then the hot laps on Saturday. And then we realized how slick the track was going to be on Saturdays, so we put everything on the slick wise, like pop up shocks on the front end, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, the car was awesome on Saturday. Like, it was the best I've felt at Humberstone, even on the slick there. But even when it's that slick there, it's hard to pass. And if you don't pass a few cars in a heat race, you're not going to be in the redraw. And we were stuck outside of that on Saturday. And it's just hard to go anywhere, really, I find. But once towards the end, we got moving, but everything got kind of spread out. And you know how that goes, Travis.
Yep, it was definitely a tough pass on Saturday. I definitely wish they would have just raked it a little bit or something, because it was definitely just the feature from the Friday. But Friday, that weekend, was the best Humberstone ever. Like, it was juicy hot laps where you got to just gas it up. And then heat race was like a little bit slicker, and then feature was slick, and that's the way I like it. But then, yeah, Saturday was just super slick, tough pass.
Friday was definitely fun.
I know. I had lots of fun Friday. Probably because I ran better.
So I'm looking over the season standings, and you brought it home 10th in the Knights of Thunder 360 tour, and you brought it home 10th at the local Oshweekend Speedway standings. So DJ, what are you feeling like you need for 2023 to maybe move up that roster and break in? Like you say, just looking at some of the names ahead of you, like there's no slouches, and to be in the group that you're in, even some of the names that you beat. Like, I'm looking at the fact that you beat Jim Hoopinen by 2 points. Like, and Mikey Krechka was down in 13th behind you. Like, there's just heavy hitters throughout the 360s right now. So what do you think it is that you need to just maybe take that next step looking into 2023?
Honestly, you just can't have a bad night now. Because if you have a bad night, the guy parked down beside you in the pits is going to have a good night. And if you have one bad night, you're going to be deep in the field in points. And you can probably get away with one, but you just got to finish in the top 10. And if you finish in the top 10 every night, I can guarantee you're going to end up in the top 5 of points.
Yeah, that's what I say too. Don't start the year with 320th plus.
Yeah, don't do that. Watch out for the inside wall.
Speed lock on the left front this year, for sure.
Yeah.
So the other thing I wanted to ask DJ was just, you've got 2 wins under your belt, 2 different racetracks. Have you identified one track in particular, not necessarily as your favorite to drive, but the place where you show up and you feel the most confident at this point in your young 360 career?
Honestly, I want to say Oshweekend, but I don't think it is anymore, just because how tough everyone is and how perfect you have to be. And every night this year it was different to say the least, just because you didn't know whether it always looked like it was wet, and then you get out there and blow it off in hot laps. But probably my not I don't even want to say favorite track, but probably best track would probably be Brighton now, just because I've found something that works very good there, and I've used the same thing multiple times there, and it always seems to work now.
And you got to win there.
I did have a
After I
win there.
showed you the line in the heat race, though. I did show you the line in the heat race that
Yeah,
night, and we had an epic battle.
we
Yeah,
did.
that was really fun.
I was trying hard on the top.
Yeah, I showed you the bottom that night, and then you drew number 1, and I got number 80, and DJ in Victory Lane.
I drew the 2 that
2,
night.
sorry. Front
I
row.
had the-
Front row. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I've watched that race numerous times on YouTube, and Ryan Turner was gone. He had over a straightaway on me.
Yeah.
And he got stuck behind lap traffic, and I just found the right spot, I guess. But lap traffic there is scary, man.
Tough
Like,
sledding.
you do not know what they're going to do
it's
there, especially with those tractor tires down
Yeah.
there. They jump
It's
out
tight
at you.
out of 4.
Yeah.
All right. So now, the whole reason you're on the show is because you've announced stuff this week, and you're going to Bridgeport this weekend, leaving tomorrow morning, I bet, early, because I think it starts tomorrow.
Oh, it's early.
yeah. So, you're
Yeah.
going to drive for Glenn at Bridgeport. Tell us about it.
Well, it was just one of those things. You get talking with Glenn, and he's just such a nice guy, and he would do anything for anyone. If you're in a pinch and you need something, he would give you anything you needed. And we got talking after he raced at Outlaw, and basically I said, "Are you going to Bridgeport?" And he said, "No, I'm going to Vegas." And I said, "Well, if you need someone to drive your car, I'm here, LOL." And his response back was, "What car do you want to race?"
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then the stars kind of aligned there again, and I'm leaving. Well, not just me. Steve Moulton, my dad, and our truck driver Ace, and my sister's boyfriend Daniel are all heading out at 5:30 tomorrow morning, and it's gonna be a long 8-hour drive, but I think it'll be worth it. I've watched numerous videos on this track, and it looks bad fast, and you gotta be up on the wheel for sure.
Yeah. The only thing is be aware of rubber.
Yeah, I haven't seen too much of it on YouTube.
I watched a bunch of stuff there because of the modifieds.
Yeah, is it as common with the sprint car stuff? Because everything with the sprint car stuff, I was watching Paulie drive hard in the top and just drive straight down the banking.
Yeah.
And you'd have like another extra 25 mile an hour than the guy rolling
Yeah,
bottom.
it's crazy layout. But
Yeah.
just sometimes it can struggle with rubber. That's the only thing about it. But like the layout would be perfect if they could get it like completely. I think it needs new surface, but you're gonna love the layout on it for sure because the banking's insane.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys get pinched coming off the corner just because of like that reason. Guys coming off the bottom and guys having a huge run off the top, and I've seen shit go south in a hurry there.
Yeah, that's like the third version of it. It started as a big 5/8, and then then it went to a flat 3/8, kind of like an infield version in the track, and then they made this thing out of it. And DJ Christie's going to do it.
I'm pumped.
Yeah. What series is it, or is it just like an open deal?
No, it's the URC sprints.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, the other thing I'm kind of nervous about, I'm not nervous, just kind of a gray area is the tires, because we're going to be running H tires, right?
Yeah.
And Steve says they're a lot different compared to the RDs and the HTC, just because the HTC is wide and soft, and the RD's soft. Like, the sidewalls are a lot softer than all the H tires.
Yeah. You'll be fine.
So apparently they're just not as forgiving. Yeah, well, that's where we're going Friday, just Friday's practice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And Saturday,
a whole day to figure it out.
Yeah, Saturday you go straight in timed hot laps, so we didn't want my first laps there to be qualifying laps.
So yeah,
we don't even know what gear we're putting in yet.
Tomorrow will be fun as heck because I guarantee it's not going to rub up tomorrow. It's going to be nice and it's going to be hammered down.
It'll be juiced up, and there's a big motor in this car.
So hopefully the wheels are balanced because you'll feel them.
Yeah, that'll be insane. I don't know if we're bringing the right front mud cover, but maybe we should think about it.
Yeah. Or beadlocks.
Yeah.
All right, well, you got an early morning, so we'll get you out of here on this one, DJ. I don't know if you are familiar with our Corey LaJoy Memorial question here, but what is your combination? If I'm going to give you one racetrack and one race car to drive on for the rest of your life, what's the combination you're picking?
Oh boy, does this have to be a racetrack that I've been
No.
at?
No, you can pick
Completely
anything. You can pick
hypothetical.
any car, any fantasy car. Yeah, like Ferrari could be calling you tomorrow to drive a Formula One car. You
Oh
could be
no,
going to
that's lame.
IndyCar,
No,
wherever you want to go.
Um, honestly, probably like Knoxville in a 410.
Yeah.
Just I've done that so much on iRacing and just the racing it produces, and I would get to race the Knoxville Nationals then.
Yep.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, that is the answer. It seems like all you sprint car guys, there's one holy grail. It's like if every basketball player wants to play in Madison Square Gardens, every hockey player grows up wanting to play in Maple Leaf Gardens, every sprint car driver grows up wanting to go and race a 410 around Knoxville. It sure seems like, anyways.
Well, I was gonna say that or either like the Kings Royal at Eldora, but I think it just gotta be Knoxville
Or both.
I like it.
or both is all right. Yeah.
Yeah, both. Why not? All right, awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time out, DJ. Good luck this weekend. Good luck driving for Glenn. Have safe travels down there, and we can't wait to hear about it and see the results of your epic drive down there.
Yeah, well, thanks. I'm thinking about doing a vlog kind of thing, or even just live streams every so often, just to even just make it as a memory kind of thing,
Yeah.
but and to update everyone else too. But
Hell yeah.
I've been too nervous to do a vlog yet, so maybe I'll have to bust that out this weekend.
Yep. We got Molten now to
Yeah,
deal with the
I
car.
think you
so
should definitely do
just
it.
drive and
Yeah,
do your
that's
little
right.
thing.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
We know you're gonna be on the gas anyway.
Oh, I'll be hammered down. You can
Yeah.
count on that.
Awesome. All right,
Yeah, well,
take care, DJ. Cheers,
Yeah,
eh?
you guys have a great night.
Thanks, buddy.
Later.
See ya.
All right, bye. Thanks for having me on.
And the checkered is out on another episode of the Southern Ontario Dirt Show. Be sure to rate, review, and subscribe for future episodes. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Southern Ontario Dirt Show. Have a question for the show? Email us, southernontariodirtshow@gmail.com. Thanks for supporting local racing in Southern Ontario, and we'll see you at the track.